My name is Laura Ann Pretty, and my grandson calls me Lolli. So we're going to paint a beautiful sunset silhouette with acrylic paints, and we'll have a good time painting with Lolli. Today you're going to need some acrylic paints in warm colors. You'll need about a $50 size of red, $50 size of a yellow that you like, and black for the silhouette part. With a large brush, we're going to take some of the black paint, and we're going to make our first horizon line. The horizon line is where the sky meets the ground. So we're going to go a little bit below this would be halfway on your painting. We're going to go a little bit below that, and we're just going to make a line across. Okay, you'll need to wash your brush in this fancy cup here that has water in it, and dry it off. Then we're going to start on the fun part, the silhouette part, the sunset part, excuse me. So for our sunset, we're going to start with some really bright, happy colors. We'd put a red streak across here. We're going to make some smooth brush strokes. We might put some streaks of yellow in there. I think you'll probably remember from your elementary days that yellow plus red is going to make orange. So as you get those lines going across, you might get some pretty oranges. So you're going to keep going all the way down. The only mistake that you could ever make with your painting is if you, pardon me, I'm going to readjust this, is if you brush too much. If you brush too much with this painting, you're going to kind of get a muddy color. And we want to keep all these colors really bright and happy and true to themselves. As you're brushing along, you want to be sure and kind of do the edges so that in case you don't have a frame at your house, your picture would be mantle ready. So I might put some streaks across there. Notice that I'm not brushing a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of let the colors go together. As I'm getting closer to the horizon line, I'm going to make my colors go a little bit lighter towards the yellow shades. Going all the way to the edge, back and forth and back and forth. If it doesn't seem like your paint is going on as smoothly as you'd like, if you dip your brush into just one dip of water, it will make the paint go on there very smoothly. Going all the way across. Might need a little bit more red down here. Maybe a touch more water to make the paint go smoothly. I'm going all the way to the bottom. Whoops. It's okay if it gets into the horizon line, because we're gonna kind of get that part going also in just a little bit. It's always good to know that you can never make a mistake when you're painting, because you can always fix something. That's just the way you wanted it. So I want to make sure that I get the edges around the outside done. If you get frustrated, you might want to take a break and maybe back up and look at your painting and go, oh, I always tell my students that your paintings always look better if you backed up a little bit from it. I want to keep these colors kind of bright and brighter towards the horizon line. See, here's our edge. We're going to brush that really quickly. And back off and look at it and go, what would I add to this? Okay, I think I might need a few more streaks of yellow through here. So see, I'm just brushing the paint on there, and then I'm leaving it, because if I brush too much, it'll all turn into one color. We kind of want to see all those pretty colors of the sunset. All right. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush really well. And do our background hill. Now we're going to do the silhouette part. For the background hill, I'm going to put black onto my brush. And I'm just going to kind of make a background hill. Then I'm going to brush black all the way down. Now that you've got that back horizon line put in with a gradual hill, we're going to go all the way down, making horizontal brush strokes all the way down to the bottom of your canvas. A silhouette is formed whenever lighting comes from the back of an object, and it makes it appear that we can't see all we see is shapes. We're going to do a really cool desert scene, which is going to be a yucca plant. Okay, we've gotten all the way down to the bottom. We're going to continue along the edge and get our edges done so that can be drying. Okay, so we've got our foreground of our sunset silhouette. If you look back at it and you think, oh, I think I might want a different shape to my horizon line. Now's the time to change that. So there we have our horizon line. When you want to paint plants, you want to paint the plants as they grow in nature. I'm changing my brush to a small brush that's kind of thin lined. You want to dip your paintbrush into the water, kind of roll your paintbrush into the paint, and then practice on your paper plate. I would start at the base and I would go up and keep trying to paint, keep trying until you feel really confident with what you're doing. When I paint I'm first going to start with the stem to the yucca plant. I don't ever want to put anything in the exact center. So I'm going to go over to the right. I'm going to go down a little bit. And I'm going to go up, just as the yucca plant grows in nature. Now, as a rule of thumb, it's always good to paint in odd numbers. So you would either have like one yucca plant, or since this is a larger canvas, I think I would want to do 3 yucca plants. So I'm going to start with that one. And I don't want them the same size or the same height. So I'm kind of happy with that size. For the top flowering part of the yucca plant, I'm going to use a different technique called stippling. Stippling is when you're going to take the paint, roll the brush into the paint, and you're going to go straight into the paint, into the canvas, like you're bouncing the paintbrush onto the canvas. So I would start at the top. I always like to practice on my palette. You're going to start at the top and kind of bounce the paint into a diamond shape for the flowering part of the yucca plant. Let's try it on this tall one. So I'm going to take my brush, roll it into the paint, and we can start. You might envision maybe a diamond shape. So I'm going to start at the top. Notice I'm going to stipple this in. It's never perfect because there's not a perfect shape of a yucca plant. So I'm kind of bouncing the paint onto the canvas. Okay, there's one. If you see that you need to kind of freshen up some of those paint where you bounced, now's the time you can do that. Okay, let's try another one. I'm going to roll that paint onto the paintbrush. Let's try this side. Okay. Bouncing the paint onto the canvas. And let's do the third. All right. For the yucca plant leaves, again, we're going to roll the paintbrush onto there. We're going to start at the center and we're going to paint them on there just as they would grow in nature. Let's start with this middle one because it would have the largest base. If you feel like you need to dip your paintbrush into the water, if the paint is not flowing very nicely, that would be the time to do it. So I'm going to start with the center. I'm going to go out with the leaves. It doesn't have to be perfect because there's never a perfect plant. Okay, we might want to add more to that, but that's a good start. Let's go to the one on the left. If they overlap, that just makes it more interesting. Okay, we'll do this one on the right. This is a 12 by 16 canvas, but I've painted these on different size canvases, and they always turn out really looking nice. You might I like nearly sometimes a long skinny canvas, since the yucca plant is a long skinny subject matter. You know, look back at your yucca plant if you need to kind of freshen up some of those blooms. You can go back and do that. Don't be too critical of yourself. Anything that you do can always be fixed in painting. That's the beauty of painting. I'm going to freshen up that stem a little bit. Kind of highlight some of those. I would try to make it look where that some of that backlighting is still coming through the yucca plant, so I'm not going to paint that solid. I would want to leave some of that lighting to come through there to kind of give it dimension. Okay, step back from your painting and see how beautiful it is, and see what you think you might want to add. I think I want to add, as I look back on it and see where some of the light is coming and where my subject matter is, I think I want to add some more streaks of color up here in the sky. Remember, it doesn't have to be too exact. And just put the paint on there and then leave it. You can blend it a little bit if need be. But sunsets are beautiful. Okay, with all paintings, you need to be sure and sign your name to it. Go back to with that small brush. Go in one of your brighter colors and put your initials down here at the bottom. Sometimes painting wet on wet can be a challenge. There we are. Have fun painting.